All right, guys. Welcome to Digital Downs. Going to do a little virtual derby preview. Take a look at the field of 8. I know we have quite a few stakes races running tonight as well, but we'll take a look at the derby field running for 500 tonight. $500. There's the purse. Let's see. Today's race. Looks like we have, along with the TC Virtual Derby G1, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, four other stakes races. But the big race of the night is the Virtual Derby. Like I said, it's 8-horse field. I expected more horses to be entered in this contest, but maybe some folks didn't feel they had the runners to put up the $50 nomination fee that is required. 2 of the 8 horses did win their way in, and we'll probably do a little more of that next season to guarantee that we have more of a full field. Let's see. Where's that sound coming from? That is required. 2 of the 8 horses did win their way in. Got it. So let's see what we got here. Field of 8. You know, and I took a look at this already, and you know, I think there's really 2 horses here that have the best shot at winning. You know, on paper, they seem to be head and shoulders above the class, the rest of the field. And you know, we'll get into those a little bit deeper. But the first one in the first gate here is Warm Cuban. It's out of Cigar and Tepin. It's owned by Sweet Stables. It's a 3-year-old filly trying to knock down this race. It has 10 races so far, 3 wins, 2 seconds, 3 thirds. Not bad, you know. It's pulled in over $189 in purse money. But if you look at its form here, it's nothing that really jumps off the paper at you and says, hey, you know, I like this horse. It does have an outside chance. Most recently was in the Florida Classic G1. It finished 3rd. That was a field of 8 as well. Velasquez was up. And, you know, kind of closed decent, but just kind of was 3rd best. Before that, it ran at G3, finished 3rd. That was a field of 7. It did run in the, I believe it's the Belmont Festival. That was a G1. It was a 1.25 miles. Pretty much very similar to this race setup. It was a field of 9, and it just never really fired. As you can see here, it finished 7th by 4. Strong race rating there. It was 113.50. That was a nice field in that race here. So let's check this out. Warm Cuban here. It says it finished 6th. Let's see, I'll just say 7. Oh, there must have been I thought there was a dead heat here somewhere. Anyway, I'll have to look into that. It's one by the other. If you go before that, you go back to October 13th, and it did finish 2nd in the field of 6. That was a 1.25 miles. That was a G2. That was a solid run. Actually, that was nearly a dead heat for 2nd. So again, Warm Cuban comes in. It's got a shot. It's got a nice post position. You know, it's got a decent jockey. So it's you know, it prefers a dirt surface. You know, so now it's going to be in the mix. I think the gate here is probably key for this horse. Depends on the type of jockey instructions or what this jockey decides to do, you know, to impact the rest of the field, and you know, and see how the race starts out. I think that the first, you know, 2 furlongs is going to be really important for this horse. All right, so that's in post 1. So post 2, we have Echo of My Heart and More Racing Stable. Again, it's another 3-year-old filly at a Whiskey Echo. It's got 6 starts already. It's got 2 wins and a second. $112,000 in race earnings. and it's coming off of its most recent race was October 28th, so it's a few weeks ago, and disappointing performance. It was a mile and a quarter on turf, and the horse, it was a 9 horses in that race, and it finished ninth by 4 lengths. Not a very good pace number, not a very strong race rating. So just even in this field of lesser quality horses, couldn't muster up enough to even hit the board. In October 2nd, at Gulfstream, at this race here was the City of Hope G2 on October 2nd. An 8-horse field, and again, it finished last by 7. Again, not very good speed. Pace rating was very slow, and the overall race rating in the class of race was also low. So nothing really, nothing really stands out there. But I tell you what, on September 25th, this horse did have a nice run. That was in the Pennsylvania Derby G1. It did finish second by 1 length. Again, it had stronger numbers here. And also a very high, much higher class of horses running in that race, and this was on a good surface, so that might have had something to do with it. Maybe this horse it has a turf preference, but as you can see on a off track there, it seems to run pretty well. So something to consider. Coming out of the claiming ranks, $20,000 claim. Gate 3 is the Doctor's Orders by Poncho Racing Stables. This 3-year-old colt is a very nice horse. It's at a buck passer, smooth quality. Has 16 races so far, 10 wins. Very impressive. 3 seconds, 1/3. Has over $730,000 in race earnings. It's coming off of, it looks like, 4 straight wins, and the last one being the Florida Classic G1. In a field of 8. Like I said, I think there was another horse already mentioned there. Yeah, Warm Cuban raced in that race. So, the Doctor's Orders is probably coming in the best form out of all the horses that are in the race. As you see, this last race here, 115.99, very strong. Class rating 112 is very high. Led the whole way in this race, and I guess wins rather easily. So, very nice horse, and probably is my pick in the race. The Doctor's Orders and 3-hole. Number 4 here is Arrogant Caballo. It's out of Arrogant Lulan. Sweet Stables. This horse has 11 races, 5 wins, 1/3, $439,000 in race earnings. It does have a G1 victory going back a few weeks to October 23rd. In the Belmont Festival. I believe that's the Belmont Festival. Belmont Festival G1, yeah, winning you're in. So it looks like it can get there. I believe this is a mud track tonight. I'm not sure. But the horse does have an outside chance. Let's see, a mile and a quarter dirt fast at Belmont. The horseman, 117.98. That's a very nice run with a 113.50. So I do like this horse probably, in the mix here for sure, possibly second. Scootin' and More Racing Stables out of the Gate 5. That's out of Knockout Punch and Secret Lavin. Breeders Tiny Reds. I don't even know that stable. Has 13 races to its name. Eight races this season. 1 first, 3 wins, 4 wins overall. Over $206,000 in race revenue. Didn't show well at the Florida Classic, but prior to that did finish back-to-back seconds in the a G1 and a G2. Potential. It does look like they have a turf preference. So STB Redux out of Rushing Man and Storm Temple Pilot. BC Racing has this 3-year-old filly ready to go. Has 14 races, 3 wins, 5 seconds, nearly $200,000 in race earnings. But its past performances aren't anything special. I think, this is taking a long shot stab at this one. I think it's out of the money. Gate 7, Dare to Flare. Bobby Dazzler's entry out of Mr. Prospector and Mariah Storm. This is a 3-year-old filly. Has 6 races this season, 1 win, 1 second. It's running 2 TC qualifiers so far, and has not run all that well. Not a very good pace number, and it has has also raced in a very high class of racing in both those races. So nothing but the best of the best. So Dare to Flare is going to need to show more for it to hit the board. Hasn't really shown that same type of form as it did in early September, coming off of a Juvenile D Division victory and a second place in a G3. So it's going to definitely need to go back to that level of racing. Number 8 is Supersonic Force. Northland's 3-year-old colt out of Jerseytown. Is pretty inexperienced horse here. It's got 5 races total, 1 win, 1 second, 1 third, and does not have a victory on dirt yet. Seems to prefer turf. It did run in the last the TC Gulfstream Cup G1 feeder for this event and finished 7th. Last by 5. Not a very good pace rating. Speed was really low. And basically its best race was its maiden special weight back on August 14th. So this horse is going to have to run much better. It's been off a month basically. So again, my pick is going to be the doctor's orders. I think it's the cream of the crop here. We can take a look at this horse now on the race from November 6th, the Florida Classic G1. Let's see how this race unfolded. Just pause it here. So just so you know, the pick here, the doctor's orders, is the six horse here. So it's this one here in this pink outfit, or the pink silks, and the head out in front is just the one to watch for. See how he sets this up. I know he jumps out to a 1-length lead, and I believe he holds on to it. See, what we have here coming down the backstretch is a little bit of a problem. And I know that luckily for the doctor's orders, he does clear out of this position here. But as you can see here, you have 1, 2, 3, 4 horses wide here vying for the front, and eventually they're going to have to settle out here and figure out who's going to move up, who's going to drop back, because it's not ideal for these horses to be running 4 or 5 wide around the track. All the jockeys know that. So you should see some type of movement. And doctor's orders gets the rail, clears out in front. That's a very important move for that horse instead of being stuck 5 wide. Looks like the one horse, I don't know what horse this is right here. I think it's Animal, the 5 horse. It's actually not really having that bad of a run. See, as we hit to that turn here, you can see he's, the doctor's orders has a pretty good lead on the pack here, heading to the top of the stretch. And the 1 horse, A Wink of an Eye by Northland's probably in the best position. The 5 horse, which is Scootin' by Anmore Racing Stables, actually made a really nice run, but it's probably going to run out a little bit of a gas here. You're looking for somebody in the back of the pack to make a closing move. Now, the 8 horse has moved all the way from the back now. It's now in 4th position. That was a strong run there. And it'll be interesting to see what happens and why this horse actually isn't able to close out the deal. I don't even recall which position it finished in. But you see it moving strongly. Oh, just not enough time. So all in all, the one horse did run a really good race, this Wink of an Eye, but it's not in this virtual derby. It's not even entered. Let's see, hold on 1 second. It's not even not entered here. So the one actually ran a great race. I'm surprised that it's not entered into this derby. The 2 horse also ran a solid race, but the most impressive horse was probably the 8 horse, who settled back in probably a relaxed position there for most of the race and closed strong. He just ran out of ground. Another furlong, that 8, which is much fun, probably wins that race. But the bottom line is the doctor's orders was really never pushed, never contested, won rather easily. And we don't even know if it had a little bit more stress on the horse, how the horse would have reacted. And that's the top horse in tonight's field. I'm not even sure where the handicappers have it. Let's take a look and see. Where the odds are for tonight. So, yeah, is the favorite. The morning line favorite is the doctor's orders is 2-1. So it makes sense. It all adds up. I mean, the doctor's orders is the strongest horse, in the field. I think it should win rather easily. It's a nice, very high rated horse, a 108.75. Its average speed rating is 114.38. I mean, these are big numbers, folks. Coming off of 4 straight wins, 3 of them graded stakes, 2 of them G1s. Let's see where it's at in the 3-year-old point standings. The doctor's order is also 3rd overall in all graded racing. It's interesting. Percy's Fortune is number 1 overall. It's not even entered into the Derby. It's more of a sprinter, I guess. That's the reason why. Judas Express, that one seems to be also more of a sprinter. Maybe that's why it's not entered. So the top router or classic horse does seem to be the doctor's orders. So it kind of makes sense that this horse is entered. Pretty Little Thing, has had some classic race success. So maybe an outside shot. Pure Fun probably could have run this race. I mean, so it's interesting to see why there's only, 8 horses entered. Or actually 6 horses entered. 2 horses won their way into this event. And it's just surprising to me out of all of these top 3-year-olds that this field of 8 is basically all we have. And I just think that it's just, those 2 horses, which are the doctor's orders and, hey, Much Fun actually is in, no. Okay. What's the other horse here? Doctor's orders, and I forget which other one I said that I liked. The doctor's orders. Yeah. That's how much head and shoulders this horse is above everybody else. I'd be surprised if this horse doesn't win. The doctor's orders, and I know there was another one there that I liked, but I believe it's a 2-horse race in the virtual derby. So, anyway, hope you enjoyed the preview. You know, we do have a tipping contest where you can make place bets with bonus credits on these races. Feel free to jump in or watch the race live tonight. Not on our server. So if you don't have an account, jump in. It's real easy. Just register. Takes 3 minutes. You don't need an account necessarily to watch the races live, but feel free to join in the Digital Downs. You can like and subscribe also on our YouTube, trying to build that up a little bit. And, I probably will post a race. Well, I know I definitely will post a race. I'm not sure if I'll run the race live on YouTube, but I will place a recap video of the virtual Derby. And obviously, we have the Preakness, virtual Preakness running next week, and then the virtual Belmont after that. We haven't had a horse win the Triple Crown here in quite some time. Actually, it's only been one horse to ever win the Triple Crown, and that horse name is Forgotten Magic. Let's see, Triple Crown Hall. Triple Crown Hall. I didn't realize that was up there, so anyway, I took that off. So, like I was saying, there's only one other horse has won the virtual Triple Crown, and that was Forgotten Magic. And out of Magic Horseshoes, that was owned by Foggy Dan Farms, and was a very nice horse. But it's been, many seasons now since we've had a horse win the Triple Crown, the virtual Triple Crown. I apologize. And then, like I said, 3 weeks. We got the virtual Derby tonight, the Preakness next week, the Belmont the week after that. It's a difficult task here on Digital Downs. You need a great horse and usually a pretty experienced, pretty experienced trainer. You don't have to have a lot of experience, to win the triple here, but it helps to know the ins and outs and what you're trying to accomplish with the race, especially if you're the favorite. You win the first 2 legs, and people are pretty much gunning for you on the 3rd leg. So it should be an interesting race tonight, and like I said, I'm looking to see, doctor's orders probably close this deal out, and who knows, maybe it would be the second ever winner of the virtual Triple Crown. Anyway, that's it for me. See you guys back on here soon.